Hello everybody, and welcome to my long-awaited video where I discuss my reasons behind why I feel that Darrelle Revis was robbed of the Defensive Player of the Year award back in 2009. Now I was kind of reminded to do this, not necessarily, but when it was brought up on the Jay Gasman show yesterday by a good friend of mine named Purple Belt Mike, huge shout out to him, I kind of urged, you know what, I need to do this video. And many people still regard to this day as Darrelle Revis' 2009 season as the greatest cornerback season in NFL history. I mean, he finished with 54 tackles, 6 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, and an NFL record that still stands to this day as 31 passes defensed. Now, when you look at what Darrelle Revis had to do in 2008 to go up against 8 to very good to Hall of Fame caliber wide receivers, starting with Andre Johnson, Hall of Famer, Randy Moss, twice, Hall of Famer, Terrell Owens, twice, Hall of Famer, Steve Smith Sr., future Hall of Famer, Reggie Wayne, future Hall of Famer, Marcus Colston, Roddy White, Torrey Holt. You can argue he's a future Hall of Famer too. And last and certainly not least, Chad Johnson, or as he likes to call himself, Chad Ochocinco. So wait, that's 9, right? That's 9. Andre Johnson, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith Sr. I'm sorry, I hate none of this. Andre Johnson, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Steve Smith Sr., Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt, Roddy White, Marcus Colston, and Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco. So 9 receivers he went up against were pretty damn good. If I missed somebody, please let me know in the comment section down below. But my point to you guys is that Darrelle Revis was a first-round pick of the 2007 draft by the New York Jets. He is cousins of former Jet and current Tampa Bay Buccaneer Jordan Whitehead, who I will admit was a very disappointing player with us. But Darrelle Revis is still, regardless of how angry you were, he played for the Patriots and then he won a Super Bowl with them. He's still one of the greatest players in Jets franchise history, so don't be an asshole about it. Okay? I still think Darrelle Revis should have won Defensive Player of the Year. I think it was given because Charles Woodson was the more popular name, the more famous name, and the more experienced player. Even though, here's the thing, Charles Woodson was great in 2009. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Charles Woodson fan. He's a great player, tremendous football player, great defensive back and everything. But in my mind, Revis was the better of the two players in 2009. I mean, let's look what he had to work with. The Jets had one of the worst pass rushing defenses in the NFL that year. Don't get me wrong, Sean House was very good. Chris Jenkins was great. Calvin Pace was good. Brian Thomas was alright. David Harris was a great man. Bart Scott's good. Jim Leonard's awesome. Drew Coleman, Dwight Lowry were alright. Kerry Rhodes was a prima donna. And Lito Shepard was meh. But obviously, what helped the Jet defense succeed was the scheming done, was the scheme developed by Rex Ryan and Mike Pettin. And obviously, Rex was smart enough to say, I have a great cornerback. I have a great shutdown corner. Let me have him follow the team's number one receiver. Let him follow wherever the team's number one receiver is going. I'm gonna have Revis follow him the whole game, and that ended up helping up the Jets succeed in so many ways defensively. While the Packers had a great defense too, when they got in the playoffs versus the Cardinals, they got lit up like a Christmas tree, including Charles Woodson. While the Jets defense, along with Darrelle Revis, continued their dominance, continued doing their job. I mean, in the playoffs, he shut down Chad Johnson again. Then in the divisional round against the Chargers, he shut down Vincent Jackson and made one of the greatest plays I've ever seen in my life that I think has been completely forgotten about, except if you're a diehard Jet fan, where he intercepted a football that rolled over Vincent Jackson's back and right into his lap. That was incredible. And then even though the Jets lost to the AFC Championship game to Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts, he really did a great job against Reggie Wayne. And, Revis had a tremendous season, and yet people want to look at this. I think Darrelle Revis was disrespected in the voting. Like, when you look at what Darrelle Revis had to do in 2009, despite the fact, okay, we don't have too many great pass rushers, we have a good scheme, but we really had to come up with a lot of blitzes and shit. But the biggest number one reason why our defense was so good because of Darrelle Revis. We were number one in points allowed, we were number one in yards allowed, and we were number one against the pass. And the biggest reason was Darrelle Revis. I mean, what Darrelle Revis did in 2009, I don't think will ever be replicated because of today's NFL, where it's really hard to play defense, especially corner in this NFL. Even though we got Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner, Christian Gonzalez, Marlon Humphrey, and I can name a few others. But my point is that not everyone. Darrelle Revis to me is one of the top 5 greatest cornerbacks of all time. That's just my opinion. And what Darrelle Revis did in 2009, I think, should have gotten him the Defensive Player of the Year award by a pretty significant margin. Charles Woodson was great, but what Darrelle Revis did, especially for the New York Jets defense, should not be ignored nor forgotten. As I said, Andre Johnson, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Steve Smith Sr., Reggie Wayne, Marcus Colston, Roddy White, Torrey Holt, and Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco. And then the postseason, Chad Johnson again, Vincent Jackson, and Reggie Wayne again. And he did his thing in all 3 playoff games. What Revis did in 2009 should not be ignored, should not be forgotten, and should not go unnoticed. To me, if I was in charge of the Defensive Player of the Year voting back in 2009, I said Darrelle Revis deserves it. Not Charles, deserves it a lot more than Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson is great, don't get me wrong. He's one of the all-time greats. But no way in hell was he better than Darrelle Revis in 2009. That's all I'm saying. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do you guys feel the same way? Do you think Darrelle Revis should have won Defensive Player of the Year? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, peace out.